Good evening, what's going on, guys? This is Tone Fernandez here, coming to you live from my house. And today, guys, I'm going to be talking about fear. I was watching a video of an article that said the thing that you fear the most is most likely what's going to bring you success. So I thought that was powerful, and I wanted to talk a little bit about a story of mine, about something that I feared, something that I really feared, and I started doing it, and from doing it, I started to see success. And I'm going to go over these 7 steps of giving over your fear of public speaking. And basically that was my big fear, was public speaking. Just gonna wait for a few more people to jump on. And once you jump on, just drop a comment where you tuning in from. If you're tuning in from Chicago, what part of the country are you in? I know I got people following me from all over the country. So just drop a comment below. I just want to say hi, shout you guys out for being supporters. But again, today, guys, just gonna quickly talk about fear. And again, I was watching a video that said the thing you fear the most is most likely what's gonna bring you success. So knowing this, my whole life I had the biggest fear of public speaking. And the funny part is my dream is I always wanted to speak in front of people, but that was my biggest fear. So a few years ago, actually a year and a half ago, I was at my office, and we were going through the lineup for our event coming up. And one of the things that we do is somebody has to kind of break the floor, introduce, kind of set the mood for the night. And it's about a 2 to 3 minute speaking spot. And something inside of me was like, do it. But then something bigger was like, no, don't even, like, you're crazy, like, no. And I just raised my hand. I said, I'll do it. And I remember leading up to this event, it was about 2 days later or something like that. Man, I was so nervous. I couldn't sleep. I was like, man, why did I even volunteer? The day of comes, and I'm nervous, of course, leading up to this in the morning, just having that anxiety feeling in my stomach, throughout lunch. And finally the time comes, and it's like 10-20 minutes before I got to speak in front of it wasn't a lot of people. I had to speak in front of maybe 30-40 people, but I was still nervous. So I'm regretting it, and then I just do it, right? It wasn't the best. Hey, what's up, Monica? Thanks for jumping on. Marcus, what's up? Where you guys tuning in from? If you guys want to drop a comment below. So yeah, I was scared. But what I realized after that was it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that scary to speak in public. And from that point on, I realized there's a few key things that I can do to minimize me being so fearful, and it's starting to almost disappear. I'm speaking in front of crowds of 100, of 200 before, and slowly but surely I'll be doing what my vision in life I always wanted to do, is speak in front of thousands. That's my big dream. So I was reading an article a little bit earlier about the 7 steps to kind of to get over your fear of public speaking. And it really was aligned with a lot of the things that helped me get over my fear. So I'm going to get into it. If you got a pen and paper handy, get it out, and I'll share this. Number 1 is start with small groups. So if you think about it, I started with a group of about 30-40 people, very small group. And now I'm working my way in a few hundred people. So start small. Maybe it's your family, or maybe it's your church. Hey, Alina, thanks for jumping on. Maybe it's a small community organization. Start small. If you start small, you're going to start to gain the confidence, and you're going to start to gain a rhythm to speak in front of people. So number 1 is start small. Number 2 is always prepare. Know exactly the material that you're going to go over. I can give you horror stories about when I never prepared to speak, and I was just stuttering the whole time, fearful and just nervous. And then when I prepared the most, recently, actually, I'll give you a story. I had to do the same speaking engagement I was talking about earlier. I had to do in front of more people. And I was a little nervous because the person that I was introducing was one of my mentors. She makes, $1.2 million a year. So what I did was, for a whole week, I just started practicing it. When I did it, it came out so smooth. People were like, "Damn, man, like that was smooth." It was the best I've ever heard because I prepared. But the times that I didn't prepare is when my mind went blank. That's what the biggest fear of people speaking in public is, that your mind's gonna go blank. That's why you always prepare. Number 3 is don't memorize. Just remember key points. That's what I do. In my mind, I think about key points in my mind, and then from those key points that brings up the rest of the information for me. But if you memorize, what happens is you sound mechanical, and then your mind will go blank, and then all of a sudden you're quiet, and people are gonna be like, "What's wrong with him?" Number 4, avoid bullet point like presentation styles. I know some people, they want to bring up a PowerPoint when they speak in public. Hey Patricia, thanks for jumping on. And they try to read off the PowerPoints, right? And what ends up happening is you lose connection with the audience, you get nervous, you start fumbling around. If you are going to use a PowerPoint, just make sure it's key points. Again, key valid points. Peter Lewis. It also helps when you really know what you're talking about. Obviously, yeah, that's preparing, man. That's preparing. Number 5 is reduce stress. So there were times when I went to go speak in public, and right before I get on stage, I'm dealing with something like over the phone. You know, like, oh man, I get on stage and my mind's kind of blank, and I'm like, because I'm thinking about what just happened. So make sure, just like an athlete goes on the field, just like Olympians get ready before they go, prepare your mind, start getting positive thoughts, and make sure that leading up to that, getting on stage or wherever you're going to speak, that your mind is clear. Number 6 is find a friend. It's always good to start mingling with the people that are going to be in the crowd right before you start speaking. Why? Because you're familiar with the people already. When you get in front of complete strangers, sometimes you feel a little weird, but when they're people that you just met, you can reference them. And that leads to number 7 is engage the audience. Whenever you engage your audience while speaking, for some reason for me, it just reduces the nervousness that I have, and it flows a lot more. I was speaking at a school not too long ago, and a bunch of teachers, and I was a little nervous because it's a bunch of teachers looking at me and they speak all day. And I decided to engage the audience more. Hey, what is your feedback on this? And what do you think about that? And what happened, it became a dialogue, and they loved it because their input was in there. So that's my biggest takeaway for helping people become better speakers in public is, number 1, start small, local community, church, somewhere, your family. Number 2 is prepare. Make sure that you know what you're talking about, like Peter Lewis just said. Number 3, don't memorize. Don't read off a book, or don't read off like word for word. Number 4 is avoid like those bullet point presentations. Those are they'll mess you up mentally. Hey Jaylene, thanks for jumping on. Hey Dia, thanks for jumping on. Number 5 is reduce your stress. Make sure that mentally you're prepared before you start to speak, and you don't have any distractions or any stress right before. Number 6, find a friend. Get to know your audience a little bit before your speaking engagement. So now you're just speaking to a friend. And then number 7, engage that audience during your presentation. Ask questions. And then it's more effective. I guess I was reading an article that said statistically, people who have a better engagement of an audience typically get better results inside the presentation of their teaching. So those are my 7 steps to speaking better in public. For those of you guys who are watching this who are entrepreneurs and you guys you like videos like this or tips, feel free to visit my blog, tonefernandez.com. Got some blogs there, some helpful tips just like this. And then I got a free training for those of you who are entrepreneurs looking to get into business. I met and I got mentorship from people like Patrick Bedavid, Grant Cardone, Todd Falcone, Ray Higdon. I got a free training of some tips that I got and some takeaways I got from those people that I've met. So you guys are more than welcome. I'll put the link below. As always, your success is important to me. If you did like this video, feel free to like, share, comment, or tag somebody you know. I'll see you guys out there on the field. Peace.